Okay, we're back with another Kpop Rambles with Rachel. I don't know why I keep struggling to say the title. In this episode, we're going to talk about how when I just know I know in regarding to my biases. Just as a disclaimer, I think my voice sounds different, probably because I've been talking a lot this past week. And yet here I am going to continue to talk. So, apologies about that. Hopefully my voice will come back and not sound as possibly strange as it might. But, anyways, to go on, if you're new here, welcome. So, in Kpop Rambles with Rachel is essentially a conversation where I talk about my interest in K-pop, and it essentially is a conversation but in a podcast format. In today's episode / theme is focusing on how my biases choose me and how I just know when I know, but also a little bit of a story time, I guess, specifically with boynextdoor and my new love for them. So, which also kind of relates to the topic. So, where to begin? I actually had filmed this several times before, and was it both times? I don't remember how many times. Maximum like 3 times before. Just did not work out for me. The first time I tried, I think I kind of liked where it went, but it was really short. Second time, it was getting better, but still not what's the word? The length of time was still just not it. And then I tried again, and I was just like, okay, no, I just gotta like try and like write out a script, or maybe don't write a script. And then with the mini script that I had, I somehow now have lost it. So I'm trying to figure out if I can find it. But here we are. So just to kind of list off a few of my biases in no particular order, and this is not an exclusive list because I have way too many to count. But some biases include Miju from Lovelyz, Hunjin from Stray Kids, Yuno from ATEEZ, Younghoon from The Boys, Tere from ZB1, Doyoung from NCT, specifically 127, and that's like, I wouldn't say my main biases. I would say that those are the first that come to mind, essentially. And so, when I say that I always get it right and I just know, like, it never fails me. Because I've noticed that when I pick my biases, or more like when they choose me, I've noticed that essentially all of them have something in common, if not multiple things in common, which I find out after the fact, which is amazing. I don't understand how that works. For example, a lot of qualities that majority of my biases have include having a mole on their face, which I find adorable, or multiple on their face, which I find even more adorable. They always find the camera. Regardless, they always find the camera, and they always give it their all. And I'm like, wow. So you just want to steal my heart right here, right now. Clearly. More than likely, they're the main dancer of the group. Possibly, more than likely, have my favorite lines from either the song that I got into them with, or multiple songs, and I didn't realize that was them. They always, like, they know that my gut feeling is right. And a lot of the times when my heart knows, my brain does not want to catch up yet. And I'm just like, I am so sorry to y'all that sometimes it's very rare that the heart and the brain don't match up quickly. But when it doesn't match up quickly, I'm just like, girl, what took you so long? So, how to explain? There was like another part that I went on about in my previous recordings that I can't seem to recall at the moment. But I guess talking about how a few of my biases came to be, and then we'll kind of talk about boynextdoor and my new love for them. So, for for Miju from Lovelyz, I first saw her in a music video for Infinite, and I want to say, yes, it was for Romeo. I don't know why I blanked on what the song was, because I just literally haven't seen that music video and heard that song in so long. And this was before Lovelyz officially debuted, and they were known as the Woolham Girls. And I knew of other members before that, and I don't think at the time all of the Lovelyz members had been introduced yet, from my knowledge at the time. But I just knew that Miju was the one for me. Like, I just knew she was my bias. I couldn't explain it. And I think that was, like, one of the jump starts of, like, whoa. Like, that's, like, one of the first times I remember, like, knowing just instantly that she was the one. And ever since, I was just like, she literally is so funny, so beautiful, amazing dancer. Just doesn't give, like, she is so confident. That's the word I'm looking for. She's so confident in her ways and just, like, everything. And when she came out with her solo debut, oh my gosh, I was just blown away. I'm like, that's my movie star right there. I love her so much. She's so genuine, so kind. And just, like, when I saw, I forget some of the music videos, like, I just remember seeing her and I was just like, yep, like, I just love her. She's just it. Like, she's that girl. She really is that girl. To this day, I love her so much. Hunjin from Stray Kids. One of the examples of how my heart and mind did not catch up in time, because I saw him from Backdoor and thought, oh, who's the pink-haired boy? Who's the blonde-haired boy? Not realizing that they're both the same boy, so I fell for Hunjin twice. He is an artist like me. He is so funny, so just also confident. Main dancer, or one of the main dancers, has a mole on his face. Is so cute. Is so lovely. He's just like my ult of ults for a reason. Yeah, I love that boy. He's amazing. He genuinely makes me want to become a better person. He really does. Who else? From ATEEZ. How did I know? How did I pick though? How did I? I'm trying to remember now, actually. He was probably actually one of the ones that I don't remember how he became to be my bias. I really don't remember. It's like I just knew though. Like, how do I say? Oh, I think it was from Deja Vu. Yeah. It was from Deja Vu. Oh, I remember now. I totally remember now. I was like, wait a minute. No. There must have been a way. So, Deja Vu was the first song that I listened to from ATEEZ that I can recall. And no one come at me. But I understand if you come at me. I listened to Deja Vu the first time I listened to it because I was just way too curious. I thought I didn't like it. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I thought I didn't like it, so I just didn't listen to it again. And then, I don't know what came over me, but I tried again, and then I was obsessed. I was like, Rachel, what were you thinking? Why were you sleeping on this song for so long? So I literally had it on repeat for months and months and months and months and months, I think. And when I was first listening to that song, I was just trying to get a feel for, like, who the members were, like, visually. Oh, that's what I was going to say. So, I guess since we're talking about, this can kind of explain, like, another process of me, like, getting into groups and finding my biases. So, when I learn about groups, I tend to watch the music video, or, like, one music video that I have a song that I really, really enjoy. In this case, Deja Vu. And from there, I try and, since I'm a very visual person, I focus on faces first and then recognize the names to associate with the face. So when I watched that music video, a few members had caught my eye because I remember seeing, I think it was from a TikTok actually, where I saw Yosung and I was like, oh, he's pretty, he's intriguing, let me go, like, watch this music video. And like I said, at first I didn't like it, gave it another try, and I instantly, little did I know I would become an ATEEZ from that point, moving forward. But I remember seeing Yuno, who had red hair at the time, and I was like, wait a minute, he's interesting. I feel like he's gonna be my bias. But I didn't confirm it yet because I don't want to say that they are when they possibly aren't. But I really need to trust my gut more because my gut's always right. So he was one of the ones that caught my eye, and then Sungwa and I think Son at the time. But the more that I listened to the song and watched their performances, I was like, no, it's got to be whoever this red-haired guy is. Like, he is just captivating me the entire time. It has to be him. Like, I don't know his name. I'm going to learn, and he's the one. I just know it. And little did I know that my gut was right. And I love Yuno with all my heart, and he deserves all the love in the world. I adore that man. He's honestly, like, so boyfriend-coded. Like, he is just, I love that boy. I love him. I love him so much. I can't explain it. But anyways, that's how I tend to find my biases, learn more about them. I was like, yep, it's like, there's just no going back. Who else did I mean? Younghoon from the Boys. Another example of me trying to figure out who the members were. And if y'all don't know, so the Boys have 11 members. And good God, did it take me a very long time to realize who was who and not mix up, for example, Kevin, Jacob, and who else? Eric. Not like I literally had the hardest time mixing up those three names in particular. That I was just like, oh my God, how am I going to learn all of these boys? So one of the main music videos that made me fall for Younghoon first was She's the Boss. And I don't know what it was about him, but he in particular caught my eye. And I was like, I don't know who he is, but I'm pretty sure he's the one. And sometimes, because in that music video in particular, they all wear, like, white outfits. And I was unsure if, like, the boy that I thought was the one, like, is that the same one in the other scene? Because sometimes I'm just like, y'all are overlapping in my brain, and I don't know if this is correct. Luckily, I did find out I was correct. So, Younghoon, what a sweet boy. I love him so much. I love all my biases so much. But, love him so much. Oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. But, that's how I felt for Younghoon. And then he literally, like, I follow a Twitter account that shows that he's been, like, doing, like, TikToks or, like, Reels, like, every Monday morning. Or not every Monday morning, but, like, every Monday. And I was like, oh my God, our Monday fairy. And he's just, what a sweet boy. Who else did I... Oh, Tere from ZB1. So, ZB1. I initially knew Ricky first. And then I knew of some other members from my friend who was talking about his, like, journey into becoming a member of ZB1 and so on and so forth. So, Ricky was the gateway initially for me, but I didn't initially get into ZB1. My brain is very mushy. ZB1 until was it this year? Or the end of last year? 15 months ago. So, I finally decided to watch the music videos and learn about, the members and stuff. And I don't know what came over me, but I was just like, wait a minute. Tere is really cute. Before I knew it was Tere, I was like, he's really cute. His voice and his lines are, like, out of this world. I'm like, wait a minute. And he's wearing purple, one of my favorite colors. And so the more that I watched their their content and their performances, I was like, oh my gosh, like, no, Tere, sorry, Ricky, but, like, Tere, he's number one for me. Like, what do you mean? And little did I know that soon, I don't know how long after, I realized and learned that he actually was a part of a cover for an Infinite song for Man in Love. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Like, that's one of my all-time favorite Infinite songs. Gives me so much joy. And Tere was a part of it? Like, you're kidding me. Like, I just knew. And his little, like, his representative animal is a little duck or, like, burb. And I love little ducks and little burbs. So the fact that I didn't know that till afterwards, I just about melted. I was like, stop it. Stop it right now. Voice of an angel. Love him so, so much. Just hear me constantly saying I love my biases so, so much. And just like, wow. The more that I learn about my biases, the more that I'm so happy that my gut just knew. Like, I just know. I always pick them right. So another recent bias that has come up is a member of the Rose, which for some reason I am blanking on his name. So give me a moment while I look up his name, because for the Rose, my friend is into the Rose, and I was like, you know what? I'm in a music listening mood. Let me just finally not give in, but like let me listen to them. And so one of the first songs that I listened to was "Come Back to Me." And it hit me like a truck. And I was just like, oh my gosh, because that song, I can relate to it all too well. And I absolutely love it. I blast that song in the car now. It's amazing. Chef's kiss. And so before I listened to them, I was asking her, like, who do you think my bias would be? Can you, I'm just curious. Do my friends, happen to know, who my biases could be? Because it's based off my track record. So I was just curious. I don't know. I don't remember who was the first members that she came up with out of the four. But I was like, okay, cool. But I still went in knowing, I'm just going to figure it out on my own. But I was just curious if she would get it right. And so my bias is Woo-sung. And I was just like, nah. As soon as I heard his voice, as soon as I knew, I saw him and I was like, no, he is the one. And love him. One of my new loves. And that same day, we found out that he actually also has a mole on his face. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I love it. And I don't know. He just, And then, another, side tangent of that is when they performed at Coachella for weekend 2, I'm pretty sure it was for Come Back to Me. I'm pretty sure. It was for that song or for Alive. And both of those songs are, some of my favorite songs. During that song, Woo-sung was wearing, bright red pants. And then in the background... bright red pants, a white shirt. And the background was, changing scenes. And it was, a dark blue... light blue? It was a shade of blue, essentially. And then, also had hints of, black. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because red and blue is, significant for me. Because that's mine and my best friend's, not representative colors. But that was, kind of what it was in the very beginning when we, matched on Instagram and stuff. And then also black and white. So I'm like, are you kidding me? They just knew. So I'm like, I always pick them correctly. It never fails me. And I'm so happy for it. So that was really sentimental, and I cried. And I was like, oh my gosh. It wasn't necessarily that song, it was a different song. But, the sentimental and all these things, I'm like, wow, thank you, universe. And for some reason, I remember there was another group, surprisingly, shocker, that I got into and was like, oh, those are my biases. But I can't remember at the moment. But without further ado, let's talk about Boy Next Door. Because Boy Next Door, y'all. So, backstory. I was scrolling through TikTok, as one does, and I saw a lot of content from Jaehyun with Hanbin from ZB1 and Sohee from Rise, because they're all MCs for M Countdown, I believe. And so I saw Jaehyun, and he was so cute, and I was like, stop it, Rachel, you can't get into another group right now, you just can't do it. But he was so cute, and I was just like, okay, no, stop it. So I would watch the video, but then I would scroll past. I'm like, it's fine, it's not the time yet. And so I can't really tell you how long it's been since of that, but because of that, I would also see sometimes, very rarely, but one video in particular stood out, was that Boy Next Door was doing an interview, and they had emoji pickets, and I remember watching it in full and being like, I don't know who's who, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get into this group, but I just have a feeling who my bias line would be. And I didn't know the order at the time, and it's only just recently that I actually, finalized the order. And so, I'm not going to tell you the proper order yet, But when I do, I'm just going to be like, wow. So, bias line included, from when I first saw that initial video, I was like, these three are potential. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be part of my bias line. And it included Leehan, Taesun, and Jaehyun. And that was before I knew. So, fast forward. I scrolled past that TikTok. I was like, okay, they're cute. I'm not going to get into them yet. And then what was my deciding factor to get into Boy Next Door? I don't remember. Oh, so recently I saw like their newest song for Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I was just curious. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna humor myself. Let me just watch and listen because I want some new music to listen to, right? And y'all, that song is so good. It is so good. And I was instantly blown away by their looks and their performance and everything else, as one is. And Taesun, y'all, I was just like, Taesun, you did not. Leehan, you did not. And then Jaehyun, oof. Just all of them. Like, wow. All of them. Oh, sorry, more backtracking. A lot of rambles. This is all over the place. I apologize. But another video actually sparked why I wanted to try and get into I keep saying the boys. Boy Next Door. It's because I saw a video of Leehan and Sungho singing a cover of, is it Open Door? From Frozen. Unpopular opinion. I don't like Frozen. The movie doesn't make sense to me. I also hated that song. But they covered it very beautifully. And I was wondering, is Sungho and Leehan going to be a part of my bias line? I was like, I don't know. I don't know yet. And so I watched the performance for Earth, Wind, and Fire and was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to, like, wow. So I had that on repeat. I then dived into a few other songs and was like, wait, they're so cute. Like, Boy Next Door is so cute. They give me, like, such great nostalgia and, like, refreshing and quirky, and I love it and enjoy it. And literally Zico formed the group. I'm like, hello? My, like, second-gen heart is thriving. It's second-gen, right? Oh, my God, I'm so old now. But, like, just nostalgia in the best way. It's great. So, what's the word? So I did that. I was like, okay, I still don't know my bias line yet. But I kind of narrowed it down, or what I thought was going to be four members, which included, in no particular order, Sungho, Leehan, Taesun, and Jaehyun. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's these four. And then I was thinking, trying to narrow it down, I was like, is it Leehan, Jaehyun, and Sungho? And then maybe Taesun? I'm like, I don't know. But that was just where my vibes were going. And so when I was talking to my friend, who's also into Boy Next Door, because I was asking him, like, hey, should I get into Boy Next Door? I saw you had, like, a photo card template. And I was just like, yes, you should. They have really nice music. And it's, like, fun and quirky. I'm like, okay, cool. I will. Eventually. And so I was like, got it. So recently, since they released Earth, Wind, and Fire, I went to Target because I was trying to kill some time, and I saw their album, and I was like, wait, it has a Target exclusive photo card. Why not? Like, you know what? Like, I shouldn't be impulse buying, but low-key I really wanted it. I was like, okay. But I was trying to see what the versions would look like, but I don't know about y'all, but for me, I had a very hard time finding, like, a PC, like, template for them, just in general, but also specifically for Earth, Wind, and Fire. So I was like, shit. Like, how do I know which version I should get? Because although I may be impulsive, I should get the one that maybe makes the most sense. And so, unfortunately, I couldn't see, like, what the inclusions really were. But I saw you got a lot. And I was like, okay, for the price, this is actually really justified. And so I went with the cutest one to me, which was the light blue version, which I think it's the Earth version because the way the CD looks, it is Earth. So I'm not sure if the other ones look different now that I think about it. But regardless, I got that one. And in my brain, I was like, universe, if it was meant to be, you're going to give me my bias line in this album. If it was meant to be. And there was only 2 left of the version that I got. And I was trying to figure out, do I do the left one or the right one? and my gut said the left one. And it was upside down. And it looked a little bit not as scratched, even though the other one, I don't think it was scratched, but like the plastic looked a little bit better. So, okay, la-di-la-di-da. Did that. I got home. I opened the album. I regret not recording my reaction to the photo card pulls. Normally, as a side note, I do that just for myself personally because I just like to see like my genuine reaction, like especially when it's if it's a bias or bias line or just like, wow, like so many cute things. So I regret it because tell me why the universe just knew. It literally gave me my entire bias line. It actually gave me like at least one of each member in the album. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like the only member it did not give me was Riwoo. I don't know how to say his name properly, but it didn't give me him. But it gave me literally everyone else. It gave me the maknae. It gave me actually, this is low-key a spoiler. So, for my not true listeners, but if you do not want a spoiler as to who I pulled for a future storing photo cards video, also a spoiler for one of my next videos upcoming, is I'm going to try and remember to put a timestamp just in case if anyone does not want to be spoiled, even though I low-key spoiled it, but I'm going to try and put a timestamp. So, I got maknae, I got 2 Taesan photo cards, I got a Jaehan, and I pulled a Sungho and a Leehan, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because I don't know if it's just me, but I think the album gave me an extra photo card because the way when I was reading the inclusions, I was like, wait a minute, there should only be this many. Not only this many, it actually comes with a lot. But when I was reading the contents, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. I got one more, didn't I? Aside from the Target exclusives. I was like, what? But it gave me literally all of my bias line. I was like, holy shit. Oh my god. It worked out because now I can trade my Sungho for my friend's Leehan because I finally finalized my bias line. I don't remember, even though it was really recently, how I finalized my bias line, but it was right, but I think right after I told my friend we could trade, or asked if we wanted to trade, because my finalized bias line is Jaehan, Leehan, and Taesan. The rest of them, honestly, are fighting for the next spots because they're all so cute. They're all super cute. Like, I can't pick the next one. Like, honestly, I think I can't. Like, So, I realized my bias line, and I was like, this works out perfectly because, like, I literally pulled them. I literally pulled all of them. Like, what? What is it? How do I say? So, I was having a really strong dilemma specifically with choosing my bias for boynextdoor, and I'll tell you why. So, Jaehan, I saw a lot of his personality first, and I was like, am I being biased about picking a bias because I've seen so much content from him first? So does that automatically make him my bias or not? So I was like, no, Rachel, like, you just gotta, like, wait and, like, watch their content and just make sure. Because you can't, like, I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't want to pick a bias and then say, actually, they're not my bias. It's not a problem, but for me, I just want to make sure that I'm solid in my decision before I scream it to the world. So, that was my issue with Jaehan. Issue with Leehan. I realized over time, I'm like, okay, like, Leehan literally screams your bias, Rachel. Like, he honestly reminds me of a mix of, like, Jaehan from The Boys, and then also Hunjin from Stray Kids. And some other biases that I have that I forget who else he reminds me of, but specifically reminds me of those two. But I don't want to let that be my bias, another bias of being a biased, if that makes sense, because he reminds me of those two. I'm like, no. I don't know. But then also, he caught me off guard when I heard his, like, deep voice when he sings sometimes, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I love him. He's so cute. What do you mean? And I thought, like, is he going to be number one? But for some reason, I thought, like, am I betraying Jaehan? But then also, like, a part of me was like, but Rachel, he screams your bias. How is he not your bias? I'm like, but I don't know. There's something doesn't feel right. And so I was like, no, I don't know. And then, to briefly mention Sungho, I thought he was going to be part of my bias line because of that one clip with Leehan for Open Door. I think is what that song is called. So I thought he would be, but like something didn't feel right once again. Like he's so cute, adore him, great. But there was something that I just didn't feel right. I was like, I don't know. And then Taesun, immediately caught my eye. Like first was like blonde, like under hair highlight thing, and I was like, whoa. He was just he captivated me from the start when I watched that first performance of Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I was like, oh no, who are you? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't choose. And so he immediately reminded me of Sunwoo from The Boys, and then my friend had mentioned, Rachel, he looks like Sunghoon, but like in a different font. I'm like, wait, you're so right. How did I not see that? And so I also didn't want to let that influence my bias either. And so I just wasn't sure. So I thought Taesun would be fourth, or like he's like really high up there. I couldn't tell. And so I don't know what came over me, but I decided to finalize my bias line. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but I just know that it's Jaehan, Leehan, and Taesun. I was like, nope, that's it. Like, that's my bias line. I just know it. My gut feeling just knows it. So when I finalized it, which was very recently, because this is all like in a span of like, I don't even know, maybe a week, probably like only a few days actually when I'm recording this. But I'm like, I just know. And so I finally decided to like watch or find that interview that I mentioned from that TikTok clip. And I could have sworn I had it saved somewhere, but for some reason I couldn't find it. I was like, crap, where is it? Like, how do I find it? And for some reason I couldn't think of the word interview, so I kept trying to like type in like Boy Next Door questions or Boy Next Door question and answer, and it showed me a different video from Hello 82 like question parade, and I watched a similar video when they did it with NCT Wish. I was like, okay, this might help, but it's not the one I'm like thinking of. And so I kept like racking my brain. I'm like, oh, that's the word I'm looking for. Interview. So I looked up, I Googled to YouTube, Boy Next Door interview with emojis or something of that nature. And it was like the first one to pop up. And I was like, yes, this is the exact video, because I specifically remember the three boys' outfits. Like, I remember each of their outfits stood out to me, even though I didn't know their names. I only recognized Jaehan at the beginning because if we recall, I've seen his personality and stuff from other clips for M Countdown. I was like, okay, so that's Jaehan, got it. And two other boys stood out to me, and little did I know that my gut was right, because they were Leehan and Taesun. I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because Taesun, I remember being in a striped jacket, and I was like, wait, I don't know, I just have a good feeling about this one. And then Leehan, like, I just recognized, like, more instantly because he just stood out to me aside from the other members. I was like, okay, got it. And so when I watched it again, like, or not watched it again, but when I recognizing the part that I watched, and then watched the full thing, I was like, I was right. They're so cute and adorable. I can't believe my gut feeling was right again. Like, I don't know why I'm still shocked about it, but I'm always shocked, and I'm pleasantly shocked every time that I'm right. When you know, you know. Like, I always pick them right. So that was honestly such a joy to find them and be like, yep, they're it. That's it. I just know. And, yeah. I think there was something else I was going to mention. But, like, for some reason, I think there's another group I was trying to get into, or, like, another group I was going to talk to you guys about. But for some reason, it's blanking. Because, like, Boy Next Door and The Rose are, like, standing out to me the most at the moment. But that's kind of like a brief overview, very much rambling of how, when I know, I know. I always pick them right, as I tell my friend. Yeah, of my biases. Like, I just don't, like, I literally love them all so much. I'm so happy that when I find a bias, that it just flows so naturally. Despite how literally Boy Next Door is, like, probably the highest case of, like, questioning myself. I'm like, wait, who is it, though? Who is it? Which one of you is it? It's like a whodunit. But little did I know, Jaehan was always the one, despite being biased about being biased. So, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTuber things. If you have an idea of what the next theme should be, or if there's anything you want me to talk about specifically, please do let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Other than that, I think that's it for now. So with that, I'll see you next one. Bye bye.